Gentlemen, this is another bill late in the evening. I intended to put on the moped bill, Representative McLean. It was requiring you to have the minimum limits of insurance, but it fits here since this deals with insurance. It requires, if requested by a claimant, insurance company must confirm that they have obtained the minimum statutory required coverage. I would appreciate your consideration and passage of this.
Senator from the 42nd.
Does Senator yield?
I yield.
I heard the presentation, but actually, aren't you striking on line 15, under current law, the way it works, when insurance company may have liability, they have to give the limits of the coverage to a claimant? Aren't you striking that?
And they can still give their copy of their declarations page, and obviously the full coverage can be discovered in discovery and litigation if litigation commences.
Do you further yield?
Yes.
So if your amendment passed, you'd actually have to get in litigation before you'd find out the limits of coverage?
No, you don't have to. If you made a settlement offer, you can make it conditioned upon disclosing the policy limits, or that you accept only the policy limits or another amount.
Do you further
Just
yield?
to keep people from basically targeting deep pocket folks with insurance.
Do you further yield?
I yield.
But to be clear, you're making it where the current law says a claimant gets to see a limit of coverage. Now they no longer will see that. They'll just see if there's minimum coverage brought about law. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. Unless they disclose further, they give the declarations page could show it.
And do you yield for a couple more?
One more.
And this amendment we see coming at 8:15 or 8:16 on day 40, was ever filed as a bill and heard any committees this entire session?
I'm not aware if that was in the House bill or not. Of course, your amendment was filed at 8:14. So, I mean, I'm a minute behind you. You beat me to the box.
To be fair, isn't true. My amendment was a House bill that passed the House with over 170 votes, was unanimous in the Finance Committee in this Senate as well, correct?
That's fair, but that was a tax bill, went to our Finance Committee, got vetted and rejected.
It's not true. It was unanimous in our committee. Are you on that committee?
I don't see it on our calendar,
You voted for it.
but I don't see it on the rules calendar.
It is.
Well, then let's wait on it.
I think we're done.
Recognize the senator from the 55th.
Will the gentleman yield?
I yield.
You are striking disclosure of the limits of coverage and stating, I quote, a statement simply that the coverage provides at least the minimum required coverage required. Is it not true that most policies are only required for $25,000?
That's true, and this guarantees, assures that that's done, that folks are
So
complying
all
with our
this
law.
says is there is in fact insurance. Is that not a fair
Right.
statement?
Of the
But
type
what
required
about
by
the
law.
instances where, for example, I had a client to come in recently that had $240,000 worth of medical records, and would it not be true that I would have to litigate just to find out that there was only $25,000 worth of insurance? That's
Not
going
true.
to cost more litigation.
Not true.
Is that a fair statement?
That is not a fair statement. You could demand the policy limits in a settlement and require them to verify that, as is routinely done.
But the current law is when we demand a policy limit, we have to at least know what to demand in order to implicate a number of other safeguards. For example, bad faith. Are you basically saying now that you don't have to? Are you basically saying that all you have to now do is say, I have insurance?
In response to this code section, but not in response to your settlement demand. If you made a demand for policy limits, they would have to confirm that.
But you're now going to require me to make a demand for policy limit, and I won't know until I litigate whether or not I'm even going to recover $25,000 if I have $200,000 worth of medical.
Untrue, you don't have to litigate to get that. You can make your settlement demand to the company for $250,000 or your policy limits, whichever is higher. We do it routinely. I answered a policy demand today during our break that was worded that way.
With all due respect to the gentleman, what is the genesis? Why do we need to now not disclose how much insurance do we have?
Because so many people are getting sued because they're known as a deep pocket. We've talked about premises liability and here ad nauseum on other things. And if that's the reason they're being sued, because they have assets or insurance, that's a deterrence to being adequately insured.
Thank you to the,
Thank you.
to the
I
gentleman
yield
in
the
the
well.
well.